Counter-Strike, a game that probably needs no introduction. Once a Half-Life 1 deathmatch mod.
I tried to sneak through the door, man. Can't make it. Can't make it. The shit's stuck. Out of my way, son! Door stuck! Door stuck! Please!
Has now become probably one of the biggest names in esport history. The game itself is about two factions. Well, there's a third one, but I'll get into that. It's either counter-terrorist, trying to stop terrorists from putting bombs in certain places, or it's instead the terrorist holding hostages, and the counter-terrorists have to rescue the hostages. And as the years went on, we got different iterations and takes on Counter-Strike, but the most infamous is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It introduced new weapons, brand new maps. Every map had a unique faction on it to kind of set it in a certain place geologically. It also introduced later on in its life more game modes. You had Wingman, which was a unique 2v2 game mode, and you had my favorite, Danger Zone, where instead of playing as terrorists or counter-terrorists, you actually played as these prisoners, who were presumably test subjects in some sort of experiment. The game mode introduced unique gadgets and weapons and maps, but despite it not being as popular as the base game, it still had a fairly active fan base, and even got community maps added to its rotation. But my favorite part of Global Offensive was the Guardian and Co-op Strike game mode. Mainly because of one thing. They gave the game a storyline. They gave us faces behind the factions. They gave us voices behind the factions. And the co-op strike missions in particular really built the groundwork for an amazing story. A story of questioning who you can trust and the things going on. And eventually, Valve said that they are making Counter-Strike 2. And everyone, including me, was so excited. Imagine how much the new factions can look, like all the detail that they can put into the factions with Source 2. I wonder like what the anarchists will look like, or what, say, maybe the FBI is gonna look like in that game. And Danger Zone could be greatly improved. I mean, don't get me wrong, what they pulled off in Source was great, but I get the feeling Danger Zone was probably pushing that thing's engines to its limit. Like, Global Offensive ran on an engine that came out before 2010. The fact they could make the Danger Zone game mode is a fucking astonishing accomplishment. And the co-op strike missions, they could expand the story. There could be maybe new enemy variety. Maybe we could have smarter enemies to fight. And the new maps could look absolutely great. Every single map-based faction was completely removed, so no matter what map you were playing on, it was the SAS versus the Phoenix. Danger Zone is gone. Various maps are now gone. In the hostage mode, the hostages that would once sit there breathing like they're panicking, terrified, have now been reduced to a fucking literal prop. Like, the same type of prop as a chair. And the co-op strike missions, completely gone. And with that, the operations as a whole. The operations themselves were the title behind big updates. Ever since CS2 came out, we haven't received an operation. And thus, no more of the co-op storyline and or lore that they were building. I could go on, but to make a long story short, Counter-Strike 2 has less content than the game that came out before it. Mind you, this game was advertised as the next big upgrade for the Counter-Strike franchise. And it's nothing. There's nothing new. They kept advertising how the smoke grenades are now cool and crazy. I've played a few CS2 matches. The smoke grenade update doesn't mean shit. It's still a fucking wall of smoke, and if you're going to waste a grenade, why throw it into a cloud to get rid of it? And they also advertise how the gore system worked, where if you shot a terrorist in his arm, you could see a literal bullet hole in his arm. And I'm like, oh my god, that's gonna look awesome on, say, like, the Separatist or Anarchist. Well, they ain't here. But what I am very pissed at the removal of, and honestly, this started even before CS2, to be quite honest, was the abandonment of co-op strike and the lore that was being built with it. And I got bored and decided to look up videos about the story of the operations, see if maybe there was a detail I missed when playing. And then realized that no one has ever tried delving or diving into the fucking storyline. I'm not saying that they don't explain it or talk about it, but they only do that. They don't try to kind of delve into the deeper themes, I feel. I've literally only found one video that tries to delve into the themes of the story. Everyone else just summarizes it. And so I figured, why not throw my hat in the ring? And try to tell you all about a story of corporations, greed, and about men and women who die for a fight that they don't know is really going on. Now, before the story begins, we need to set up the 4 main factions. Because these 4 factions kind of split into other little mini-factions with their own characters. We have the counter-terrorist, or CTs. We have the basic counter-terrorist unit that you play in the average bomb defusal or hostage map. Men and women. Well, only women if you buy the agent skins, because Valve doesn't make female characters appear in the base game. You have to spend money if you feel like being a woman in this game. But anyway, the counter-terrorists are men and women that are either defending their country or, depending on the said counter-terrorist faction, possibly doing this because it's law. And then you have the Coalition Task Force. These are top-of-the-line counter-terrorists. Like, if you thought defusing bombs and saving hostages was very, very important to keeping the world safe, these are the guys doing the real work. As a matter of fact, they are so skilled at their job that the Coalition Task Force only sends 2 people per mission.
Hello, I'm Kotoro Izaki, and this is Carmen Cosienaro.
Hey.
It's my pleasure to inform you that you've been selected to join a special branch of the Coalition Task Force.
Lucky you.
Our missions do not follow the standard rules of engagement. We work in pairs, relying on teamwork to take out overwhelming force.
Let's see what you got.
These guys are so good at their job that they are sent in pairs. Although, to be quite honest, I feel like this was mainly done to kind of explain the wingman mode. And also, from what I've done research on and seen, it is presumed that the Coalition Task Force might just be the name for all counter-terrorists. However, they're seemingly only brought up whenever referring to the co-op strike and or storyline. In the base game, counter-terrorists are called counter-terrorists. But the main reason I think that the Coalition Task Force and counter-terrorist are 2 different kind of groups is because when playing as a counter-terrorist, every counter-terrorist is from the same country. The SAS is all from New Zealand.
Come on, chop chop. Let's move out. Remove any doubts in your head. It's us or them.
The IDF is all from Israel.
People, we're wasting time. Let's go. Our mission is simple. Take them out. Grab your gear and let's go.
And the FBI is all from America.
Hurry up. We don't have much time. Officer under fire. Be careful. Let's all make it home tonight.
Meanwhile, the Coalition Task Force seemingly just has people from all around the globe. Now, I'm willing to admit I could just be racist, but for the sake of this video, I am going to assume that the Coalition Task Force is its own branch of the counter-terrorist faction. And now we move on to the terrorists. And similar to the counter-terrorist faction, we have the main terrorist groups throughout the game, and then we have the big one that we fight throughout pretty much all of Co-op Strike and Guardian, the Phoenix. As we will see later on in the storyline, these guys, they are not your average terrorists. They have quite some aces up their sleeve. And then we have a third faction, and for some of you this might seem weird, but trust me, there's a lot of characters and connections to this faction. The people in charge of Danger Zone. It's very much heavily hinted and kind of somewhat told to us that the Danger Zone participants and the whole thing with Danger Zone is being ran by somebody.
Your performance was exemplary. The board appreciates your enthusiasm. As always, the board thanks you for your contribution to the experiment.
Now, I know this might seem weird, I'm talking about a faction related to a spin-off mode, but trust me, they will come important to the storyline. And the fourth faction, which saying faction feels weird because it's one guy, is Booth. Booth, in lore, is a neutral arms dealer. He supplies both the Phoenix and counter-terrorist with weaponry. He is a fence-sitter through and through. But one thing I find funny is, throughout the co-op strike missions, the Coalition Task Force, although on multiple occasions uses Booth's equipment, shows reluctancy, which I just think is a really cool detail that, like, they're aware they're getting weapons from the same guy giving weapons to terrorists. but because presumably in the base game and in the co-op strike missions just were flat out told, they have no other choice. Either they go to him, or they have to get some of the cheapest, most pile of shit equipment ever. And we see in the first co-op strike mission why that's a bad idea. He is also presumably a personification of the buy menu, which is the in-game menu you use to get your new weapons as the round starts. Also, he is the in-lore reason that weapon skins exist. God bless you, Booth, you created a fucking horrid gambling market. I literally know people who play CSGO for gambling the skins and not actually playing the fucking game. Just go look at Anomaly's channel and tell me the last time he actually played the fucking game. Tells you how good your sequel is when the only thing that people talk about is the new fucking gun skins. Sorry, did I make it apparent that I really hate CS2? Now, let's go ahead and begin.
Evil, criminal, terrorist. The reality is that I am none of these things. My name is Valeria Jenner, and I am the voice of the Phoenix. And the Phoenix is the voice of freedom. It's said that you have talents that can be of use to the struggle. It's time for you to prove you have the skills you claim to have.
Valeria Jenner is the leader of the Phoenix. Now, unlike most terrorist factions, there isn't necessarily a leading country that the members come from. For example, Valeria herself sounds Scottish, but the actual members that you fight sound quite Soviet.
Great bit stupid. I'm going to kill them all. Да, конечно. You will cry like babies before you die.
And when fighting the heavy units in co-op strike, they sound American.
You'll be dead to the last man. Where are all the real men? We will end you.
But I believe the reason that the Phoenix is this almost just melting pot of different nationalities is because of their goal. 9 times out of 10 in the real world, terrorism is usually because of something happening to somebody's country and them trying to, I guess you could say, get vengeance or seek justice. Valeria doesn't want to help a country or destroy an enemy country. She wants to rebirth the world.
Titans of industry all flock to the Elise Resort. A temple of excess designed to coddle CEOs who made their fortunes on the back of labourers. They'd laugh as they clinked glasses full of champagne, each flute filled with 1 month's salary of their employees. But soon they would stop laughing. People want to believe that change comes from within the system, but you and I both know better. The system protects corporate stooges like Underhill and Murphy as they line their pockets promoting industries that cripple the common man. Today, their ivory tower begins to fall.
To her, the world is a place of corruption and evil and greed. A world consumed by the top 1%. And she feels that the only way to ever really fix this is to basically just destroy the world and have us rebuild from there. Now, I am 100% willing to admit that this is a horrid idea. Resetting the world will inevitably just cause bad things to happen again. But it is a goal that is at least understandable. I need to preface this, I'm not defending terrorism. I'm just stating that her goals, when you think like a lunatic like her, make sense. And her goal is to basically just bomb and destroy any place that's ran by some sort of rich corporation. Now, obviously, to the outside world, these are fucking terrorist attacks, and due to the Phoenix's just determination and their numbers and their strength, they have been quite the target for the Coalition Task Force. Now, you see, the info I'm telling you right now, we only really found out during Operation Bloodhound, which was a few operations into CSGO's lifetime. And we find out that this little skirmish between the Phoenix and Coalition Task Force and Counter-Terrorist has actually been going on throughout the prior operations. You see, Bloodhound was the first one to introduce a proper story. The others were simply just challenges. References to the operation prior to Bloodhound are referenced throughout Bloodhound. And so, for the longest time, the Phoenix and Coalition Task Force and Counter-Terrorist would butt heads. But during one of these operations, there was a member of the Coalition Task Force who listened to Valeria, and something changed in him.
I'm ashamed of the things that I've done in the name of my country, but I can't wallow in that misery. All I can do now is try to change the world. And yes, Our new world will be built atop the bodies of the fallen, but change isn't easy. We aren't fighting soldiers. We aren't fighting peacekeepers. We're fighting learned helplessness. And when this sleeping world awakes, it will thank us.
What you heard was Chase Turner. And what makes him such a unique character to me is he is the only character, as far as I'm aware, who now works for a faction that he used to fight. Throughout the rest of the storyline, the Coalition Task Force works for the Coalition Task Force. For the rest of the storyline, the Phoenix works with each other and works with Valeria. But Chase Turner is the only character who went from counter-terrorist to terrorist. Bro must have got auto-balanced mid-match. Back when he was a member of the Coalition Task Force, he was a very, very skilled member. But a fairly important detail we learn is that he was trained by a person named Sebastian Henke. I don't know if I pronounced his surname right, so I'm just gonna call him Sebastian. Sebastian was a high-ranking sniper in the Coalition Task Force, and helped to go ahead and train Chase. And during the first operation that featured voice acting, before we had Felix Riley, we had him. He basically served as our main narrator when doing the counter-terrorist side of the campaign. But anyway, back to Chase Turner. Chase Turner was a very, very skilled member of the Phoenix. His skills from the Coalition Task Force are greatly helping him go above the ranks of the rest. One of Chase's first objectives upon defecting from the Coalition Task Force was to capture a gonzo journalist, Alex Kincaid. Alex Kincaid himself was a journalist trying to cover these events that had been going on between the Phoenix and the counter-terrorist. But during Operation Vanguard, Chase Turner goes ahead and captures him. And for over a year, Kincaid would be kidnapped and held hostage. And from here, Operation Bloodhound begins. Chase's former trainer, Sebastian, has went ahead and made Chase Turner a key target to assassinate.
The man we hunt is Chase Turner. He was a friend to many of us, and a protege of mine. The most gifted sniper I ever trained. Valeria's words have twisted him beyond recognition, and when the time comes, it will fall on us to put him down. Let's begin your training with the SSG-08.
And Chase Turner himself is the main antagonist when playing as the counter-terrorist in Operation Bloodhound. And so, the operation goes on, with us completing objectives and learning bits of lore as the story progresses. Eventually, in this campaign, we reach a mission called Graduation Day, where we are sent to kill one of the low-ranking lieutenants of the Phoenix, Sergei. In response to this, the Phoenix goes ahead and sends out more terrorists to launch multiple attacks all at once. And during this, they capture a man called Lord William. Also, here's a fun fact about Lord William. His lore and how long he's been in the game has been since, like, the first Counter-Strike. You see, back in the old days of Counter-Strike, when it was running on Gold Source, the maps would come with a description to explain why the terrorists and counter-terrorists are doing what they're doing. Now, most maps just rely on either environmental storytelling or just the map creator thought this was a cool location and it's Counter-Strike. But Lord William was apparently the owner of the map Cobble and Chateau. Apparently in the lore, the terrorists managed to bomb Cobble, but Lord William survived and then moved to Chateau. However, this then became the terrorist's next target. And then in Global Offensive, we find out he's been a major backer for the counter-terrorist, and then Chase Turner goes ahead and captures him at Cobblestone. Not Cobble, Cobblestone. And I just find it funny that they took what was probably the map creators just real quick, property of a guy named Lord Williams, fuck it, map description, and took what was probably just somebody's very quick thoughts and turned it into a character who, because of his background, actually has some stake when it comes to him dying or living here. But anyway, we learned from the terrorists, they captured him and put him down.
Lord William was one of the major backers of the Coalition Task Force, but his money was as dirty as it came. Abducting William was easy. Waiting for evac, that was the hard part.
The capture of Lord William is one of the Phoenix's greatest triumphs. Turner led a small unit to William's estate, dragging that snivelling worm out from his ivory tower. The Coalition Task Force tried in vain to save him, but Turner laid them low with the SSG-08.
With one of the Coalition Task Force most major backers dead, the importance of killing and putting down Chase Turner grows even stronger. As this all goes on, more and more hostage situations begin to occur throughout the entire world.
Turner knows we're getting close. He's making a move on various soft targets all around the globe. He wants to use these hostage scenarios to divide the Coalition's resources and pick us off one at a time.
Now, the way that Sebastian phrases this about how these global attacks are dividing the Coalition does kind of give credence and proof to the theory that the Coalition Task Force is the counter-terrorists. But what I personally think is that the Coalition Task Force is just the higher-ups and, top of the top field of the counter-terrorist. The other counter-terrorists that we play as, although fucking are brave men and women putting their lives on the line to protect their country, are nowhere near as high-ranking and as tactical as the Coalition Task Force. And then that mention that they're launching these attacks around the globe. Now, it could be possible that these are, in fact, just the Phoenix. I mean, hell, go on the wiki and look at the Phoenix Connection's appearances when going to the Global Offensive maps. Yeah, they're kind of attacking the whole fucking globe. But that leaves you to question the other terrorist attacks throughout the game. Are these just separate terrorist attacks, or were they staged by the Phoenix with help from other terrorists? So for now, let's go ahead and just assume that when Sebastian says that the Phoenix is all around the globe, he means the Phoenix is all around the globe. For now, the other terrorist factions either are working with the Phoenix, or they're just separate events. As of now, we don't have enough info to prove either or. But for the time being, I'm just going to assume that these other terrorist attacks are just other terrorist attacks. But eventually, they managed to go ahead and track down Turner.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. We've confirmed that Turner is among the operators at this hostage situation. If you see him in the engagement, don't hesitate to take him out.
By the way, here's a little fun fact about this operation and Chase Turner. When you go to play the final mission, Chase Turner is represented as one of the professional terrorists with a mask on. And if you look at his actual image, you can see he has that mask in his hands. And secondly, and this is such a cool detail, and it's like, I hear this detail and I just question why Valve put all this effort into this shit to just scrap it. Let's say you played this campaign back when it came out, and you decide to do the Coalition Task Force campaign first. Well, any and all briefings with Chase Turner wouldn't make sense because you killed him. So most of these missions have an alternative briefing for if you kill Turner. And to me, that is just such a cool detail.
We've launched 5 unsuccessful attempts on Turner's life. He evaded us twice by using bad intel to trap us. If that happens to you, you need to be prepared for anything. With Turner dead, you can bet Valeria will be looking for vengeance. Being able to adapt will be key to your survival.
Nice to meet you. I'm Chase Turner. I wish I had time to give a fancy speech, but we got a problem. Sebastian Henke has sent an operator named Jackson to assassinate Valeria. We have to stop him. Nothing is more important than her survival.
Turner is dead. Struck down by a father who couldn't bear to see his son outshine him. A reckoning will be coming for Mr. Henke, but for now, I want him to hurt like we do. I've located one of his star pupils, an operator named Jackson. Find him, kill him, and bring justice for the Phoenix.
And it just makes you wonder, Valve put all this effort into these operations, and then CS2 comes out and there's fuck it. Turner is killed. And with that, Operation Bloodhound closes. Now, I'm not going to go too far deep in this operation because all we had here was basically audio logs to work off. And also the terrorist missions I didn't feel were as important to cover. You see, in the counter-terrorist one, we take out a low-ranking lieutenant, which, while granted in-game, is just a Phoenix member with the battle mask. But, you can kind of understand why the Phoenix would retaliate at the death of a lieutenant. But the people that the terrorists have to kill, they're just normal counter-terrorists. Granted, one of them is allegedly a really good sniper, but you're a sniper, okay, but what? This was the first operation with an actual plot. Your first time doing anything is gonna suck. But with this operation alone, we have laid the seeds for a very good story to build upon. We have a terrorist faction that has a leader who is able to convince counter-terrorists to join her cause. And we have this counter-terrorist faction consisting of various people from around the world. You can do so much with just those two things. And Valve would go ahead and do much more with it. And so begins Operation Wildfire. And believe me when I say, the plot very much thickens.
Operation Bloodhound was a success. Turner is dead, and the Phoenix are still recovering from their loss. Now is the time to put on the pressure, to hit multiple Phoenix operations at once, to spread like wildfire. My name is Major Felix Riley, and together, we're going to stop Valeria.
Our main missions don't actually begin with Felix. The missions with Felix are actually more just goofy little missions to do. One of my favorites is just you have to kill chickens, and I shit you not, this is the briefing.
I make no excuses or pretenses. I hate chickens. Hate them. I want them off my battlefield.
Shit like that reminds me that we need more, like, comedic shit in Counter-Strike. But I think the competitive community will fucking kill Valve if they do that. But anyway, sorry, got off track. Our proper introduction to this operation begins with Kataro and Carmen, which I actually played earlier to explain about the whole thing about them working in pairs. And in this, a character that you might have forgotten is brought up, Alex Kincaid. According to the characters in between Operation Bloodhound and Operation Wildfire, Kincaid was captured for over a year and being held hostage by the Phoenix. And so now that the success of Bloodhound and the celebrating has died down, they've realized they gotta rescue Alex Kincaid. And when they eventually find out where Kincaid's location is, it's a bit odd.
Alex Kincaid has been a Phoenix captive since Operation Vanguard. That ends today. It took months, but I was able to get intel on Kincaid's location. A cement factory, owned by industrialist and Phoenix sympathizer, Franz Kriegelt.
Get in the factory and extract Kincaid. Once he's safe, we'll find a way to nail Kriegelt.
Kriegelt will play a very important role in the story. For now, he's just kind of in the background, but trust me, he becomes very important. But eventually, it is time to go ahead and rescue Kincaid. And so begins the co-op strike missions. Now, for the gameplay for this, I just turned on God mode and played with a friend. I had him play through the maps before we went through them on God mode, because the fun of co-op strike is that it's a challenge. You have to be careful, plan your decisions right. I mean, the fucking Phoenix heavies will wipe you out if you do not prepare. But because I only really needed the gameplay, after we had finished playing through them normally, me and him just played through them again with God mode to get footage. Also, I apologize in advance if me and him are talking over characters. Me and him yap a lot. But shout out to my friend Gas Mask Guy. If you're an old viewer, you might actually know him from my mouthwashing video because he voice acted Curly. But if it weren't for him, I would probably have to play through these maps solo, and that would have been painful. And half the footage would just be me fucking no-clipping, because a lot of the level has things that require cooperation. Hence the game mode's name, Co-op Strike. But eventually they send 2 top-of-the-line counter-terrorists, until we're the ones controlling them. Now, before we even begin to talk about the level, I need to talk about something interesting that only Operation Wildfire did, and none of the other operations. You see, by default you unlock one at first, and the rest are unlocked as you play through. There were comics. What I mean by that is, as you played the co-op strike mode, you unlocked these comics that gave us more lore and backstory. And the first one by default is unlocked. And because from what research I've done, there is absolutely no base voice acting, here is my attempt at voice acting these comics. I apologize in advance. Living a lie is easy. Waking up? Now that takes courage. People say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but let's be honest. They really mean The nail that sticks out gets the hammer. I take no joy in what I do, but if I don't do this, who will? Forgive the intrusion, Valeria. I just received word that Franz was coming. I'm amazed he got up so early. He says he has concerns. We all do. It's why we fight. You know what I mean. If what we do were easy, we wouldn't call it the struggle. You can't trust him. Trust is all we have. He wants to kill you. Wanting is different than trying. Until he makes a move against me, he's to be treated like a brother. And if he kills you when he makes his move, then you're terrible at your job.
The plans you asked for, ma'am?
Pull up an armchair, Naomi. We're about to change the world. Now, for the time being, this comic doesn't give us too much info. What we do know is that it seems that Franz and Valeria, although working together, don't necessarily agree with each other, and that Naomi is her overprotective bodyguard. By the way, we never see Naomi again. She appears in these comics, and then she fucks off. So I guess she really is terrible at her job. But what we see is the Phoenix preparing to attack Nuke. And fun fact, if you play Nuke on CSGO, it's the Phoenix that are the terrorists on Nuke. Which, if it wasn't already apparent by what I've said, this right here is just visual proof that Valeria is indeed the leader behind this terrorist faction. But anyway, that's the only thing that the first comic really adds. Let's start talking about the mission. Now, before the actual mission itself even begins, and you're just inside of the, I guess you could say, warm-up area, there's already one very specific weapon you're given that leads to a whole rabbit hole of questions and mystery. We're given a grenade in this mission, and for reasons I'll explain later, only this mission, called the Tactical Awareness Grenade, or TAG. And this grenade is very, I want to say sci-fi? It isn't a decoy that creates gunshot sounds, it's not a frag grenade, a smoke grenade, an incendiary, or a flashbang. It's a grenade that you throw, it will then stick to the wall, beep a little bit, and then upon exploding, lets you see the enemy's position through walls. It is the most unique item, I think, ever in Counter-Strike history, and like I said, for reasons I'll mention later, we only get it in this mission. But there's something I want to point out about this grenade. On the grenade is this logo, and if you were to play Train or to play Nuke in CSGO, this logo appears in those maps. And apparently this is a logo for a company named V Shipping Corporation, which seemingly implies that these are people giving the Coalition Task Force weaponry. But this isn't a normal weapon, and that's for good reason, because this logo, the V Shipping logo, also appears in Danger Zone. If you were to acquire a tablet upgrade while playing Danger Zone, and then put the chip in, you can see as that's happening, this logo in the top corner. And also, I don't have any image proof of this sadly, but in the game files for the map Black Site, there is a ton of unused decals of the V Shipping Corporation logo. So this implies that the Coalition Task Force is getting weaponry not only from Booth, who is a fence sitter giving weapons to also terrorists, but they are also getting some of this much more advanced equipment through V Shipping, presumably. Now, granted, this is the only advanced weaponry we get in this mission, but, I mean, look at all the other stuff in Danger Zone. I don't know how two counter-terrorists would put it to use. Like, imagine if Felix gave us the bump mine that literally lets you fly across the map. Like, yeah, that's gonna totally help you get in there stealthily. It was pretty much the only, I guess, viable sci-fi tech they could use. Now, this, in of itself, brings up a bit of a moral question here. Should the Coalition Task Force really be getting their weaponry from people running, well, the Hunger Games? Now, granted, we can assume that these prisoners are there for a reason. As a matter of fact, if you take a really close look at the Danger Zone subjects, they're actually just a reskin of another terrorist faction. Now, granted, this could just be asset reuse. I mean, a lot of props in CSGO maps are actually Left 4 Dead props. At least in the early years of CSGO, a lot of it was Left 4 Dead props. Now there's been a lot of custom props made for maps. I mean, Black Site, even the rocks that make up the ground are a custom prop. But then it makes you wonder if Valve would say, for the first Danger Zone map, make all these unique props, why just do an asset flip when making the prisoner model? So we can kind of just assume that the people in the Danger Zone game mode are terrorists that are being imprisoned and then are being forced to work on these experiments. I want to remind you, we're not even talking about the actual mission of us going into Kriegel's factory yet, and we've already got this brand new plot point that is spiraling into me talking for like 4 minutes. Anyway, to try to make that a bit more brief, the logo on the tactical awareness grenade that we receive in this mission is the same logo seen in Nuke and Train, and also the same logo when going to upgrade your tablet in Danger Zone, implying that that company, V Shipping, is responsible for creating those grenades, the Danger Zone equipment, and presumably for delivering or working on something in Nuke and Train. I apologize for that detour. We're going to go ahead and go back to talking about Kriegel. And so, the two operators are then sent to go ahead and rescue Kincaid. But I'm just going to let the gameplay tell the story, instead of me narrating it for once.
Go to the wall and pick out your weapons of choice. When you're ready, step into the taped-off square to be deployed. One more thing. We're providing you with heavy armor and medical stims, so you'll be able to take more abuse than normal.
Oh, show them the secret room as well.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'll mention it. The hard
mode. You just mention that to use hard difficulty, you literally have to go out of your way.
Yeah.
So probably, like, hey, man,
I could probably say that when I'm like sucking off this game mode, because that's definitely what I'm going to be doing.
Alright, operators. Kincaid is counting on you. Move swiftly and decisively, clearing each area of Phoenix before moving forward. Good luck.
She said, you think the devil has horns? Well, so did I. But I was wrong, his hair is combed and he wears a suit. He's nice, polite, he'll catch you by surprise.
Good work. Perimeter secure. Time to take that compound.
Said she was in a hurry. That's when she met on Sunday walking down the street. She dropped a bag and it fell to his feet. He got down on one knee. He handed her the purse and gave her 1 or 2. He's out tonight, walking around downtown, carrying a gun and knife. He'll fight, you'll die.
These are blueprints for one of Kriegel's rail yards. Why would he target one of his own trains? What's he moving? This isn't just a base. It's a staging area. What are the Phoenix planning? Kincaid has to be close. That's Kincaid. There has to be a way to unlock this door from the other side.
Who's there?
Do you want me to pick him up so you can see the animation?
Sure.
You're not with them, are you? I thought I was gonna die here.
Great job.
It's been almost a year.
Now get the hell out of
I'd
there.
almost given up. I have spent the past year profiling Valeria for her propaganda pieces. I know her better than anyone. I can help you stop her.
We've extracted Kincaid. I could get used to things going our way. Evac will be there in 60 seconds.
Right side.
Die here.
Let's get you home.
Woo! Okay.
Let's go.
Now, there's a lot to analyze here after beating the mission. Firstly, the Phoenix are living here. This isn't a temporary outpost, a one-time thing. They have just full-on kitchens basically set up in this facility. These people are living here, and probably for some sort of good reason. And then next up is the mention of those blueprints. Felix mentions that this is one of Kriegold's rail yards, and at first the map just looks like any generic Counter-Strike map, until you mess with it and realize that's Train. Kriegold owns Train, which then implies by the V-Shipping logos Kriegold works for V-Shipping? Well, maybe it's not as simple as that. You see, when playing Train, the map feels almost like it's been added onto. As in, there's almost two different stations. You have the one with the V-Shipping logos that's much more sci-fi and more high-tech, and then you have the old run-down version that you often see with this old communist logo. There's even a mural to Vladimir Lenin, who was a revolutionary during the, Russian Civil War. And apparently, Kriegold owns this place, or at least works here. So, this leads me to believe one of two things if he's for some reason helping them bomb one of his own trains. One, he works for the more old rundown part of the facility and that company and supports their ideals more, thus wanting to go ahead and blow up some of V-Shipping's equipment. Perhaps Kriegold, apparently being a Phoenix sympathizer, decided to go ahead and let the Phoenix blow up this place because of his hatred of the counter-terrorists and V-Shipping. Or perhaps, what if it's flipped, and instead he maybe works at V-Shipping and is trying to blow up the whole communist part? Or a much more just insane separate idea, what if he's a defector? What if he did work for V-Shipping, and perhaps just out of hatred for the company or something, wants to bomb it? To make a long story short, Kriegold is letting the Phoenix bomb his own areas because of something that he probably has against the people he works with. But that was mission 1 of 3 that we have done on Phoenix Compound. This then leads us to the second comic, which I will also voice act, and I hope you like the voice acting because I'm doing it for all of them. It's not the world that needs to change. It's the management. You worry too much, Elliot. Things are under control. I pay you to blow up buildings, not offer opinions. For f***'s sake, just get off the phone and show some respect. I'll call you back. Our dog is off her leash. Enough! What's going on, Franz? The facility's been compromised. They took Kincaid. How did this happen? Well, first they killed our men. Then they took the hostage. If I were you, I'd stop being glib and start being helpful. A more insecure man would take that as a threat. A smarter man would realize it's absolutely a threat. What is this? Proof. Of? Betrayal. Imogen is helping the Coalition Task Force. Well then. Looks like we'll be killing Booth's daughter, doesn't it? Yes, Kriegold has a face. I don't just have to keep mentioning his name and not having a face for a reference. So, the first big bit of info here is that Booth has a daughter, And apparently, she's been working with the Coalition Task Force and Valeria, but she's actually just been with the Coalition Task Force. Basically, she's trying to come off like her father, who's a neutral arms dealer, when in reality, she's a spy for the Coalition. And now that they know this, she's probably going to get killed if she doesn't get out of there. Now, after all this, and we rescue Kincaid, we actually get to hear a few mission briefs of him talking.
Kriegel is wielding the Phoenix like a sword, using them to target industries he's competing with. In one of our interviews, Valeria told me the Phoenix weren't finished destroying Lord William's legacy. They're looking to attack all of his estates.
So, what I kind of theorized earlier about him using the terrorists to help him with an enemy was true. He is using the Phoenix to basically get rid of his opponents. This was also confirmed in the comic when he literally said, "I pay you to blow up things." So, he is just a dirty businessman using literal terrorists to get rid of his competition. So we can assume that his competition was the people in Train. But for now, we don't know who. It's either the old Soviet company or V Shipping. And also, after this mission, there is an audio log that we can hear that talks about that person Kriegel was on the phone with, Elliot.
Kotaro, what are you doing?
Following the money.
We're not authorized to—
You of all people don't get to lecture me on procedure. Valeria has been using Elliot Kingsman's goons to bolster her numbers, and now we have proof. I'm going after Kingsman. Are you with me or not?
I'm with you.
Elliot is apparently a mercenary, and I've tried doing research, and from what I can find, it is heavily implied that Elliot is a member of the professional terrorist faction. Now, I must admit my info for this is from a feature in the game that was not ever released, which was wearables, which basically originally was going to be a thing where people could wear cosmetics on their character, but Valve, I think, decided to change this into the agents instead. But on that, they have specific descriptions for some of the counter-terrorist and terrorist factions, and one of them is named Pro, which, you know, means professional. And the description there states, backed by an unknown but well-financed organization. The professionals are seasoned private mercenaries that won't hesitate to gun down any opposition for a price. So this means that we have the professionals, which are just mercenaries, and actual terrorists trying to stop the Coalition Task Force now. You think the plot's getting messy now? Oh, brother, you got no idea what's in store. But this just once again shows how fucked up Kriegel is. Not only is he willing to work with terrorists to get rid of his competition, but if that ain't gonna do the job, he's willing to just buy mercenaries. Now, let's go ahead and get back on the missions. So now we've went ahead and froze and are tracing down where Kriegel's money is from. And presumably, he is getting some of this money, or giving it, to mercenaries, aka the professionals. Now, for a good brief moment in time, these two actually just literally stop existing in the story. Like, Felix literally thinks they went AWOL. And unfortunately, this is the last operation to have these briefings of sorts. So, either they died or just went missing, or they did find the leader of the mercenary group. From what research I could do, though, after this, they just go missing. Which kind of sucks, because I like their voice actors. But with the info that Kriegel has been going ahead and using his money to help fund the Phoenix's weaponry, yeah, they need to put a stop to that money.
We just got the full debrief from Kincaid. Franz Kriegel is using his business as a front to help finance the Phoenix. But if we're gonna start freezing his assets, we're gonna need proof. Now, I don't like sending you back into the lion's den, but this is our chance to deal some lasting damage to the Phoenix.
Good work extracting Kincaid. Hopefully this will go just as smoothly. You need to gain access to Kriegel's computer, download his business files, then upload a Trojan so we can follow the money.
No more helicopter.
Sad.
Oh.
Make your way through the maintenance building to get into Kriegel's accounting office.
Is there what?
think there's a cooldown for crouching. Might be, but I can't just sit and teabag. Left side. Come on there.
Got more company. Alright. Once you're out of the maintenance building, find a way to cross the yard and get to the accounting office.
Right side. Contact.
Well, after the foundation was laid, then Lord began to
Once we start downloading their data, they'll know exactly where you are. Stay close and watch each other's backs. Good luck. Program's working. Hang tight while we copy the data over.
Bro, leave me the fuck alone and breathe the door.
Downstairs.
It's done.
Just as I run out of primary ammo, perfect.
You've got what we needed. Make your way to the rooftop. We'll extract you hot. Excellent work. Remind me to give you boys a raise.
We got incoming. Right side.
Just beat the storm. Good work.
Wait, what? Oh my god. Oh my god, Counter-Strike 2 had an update? Shit. Oh, is my entire video irrelevant now? Fuck. It's new weapon skins, and now you can spectate your teammates' inventory while playing the game. Also, the grenades have new sound effects. Glad to see Valve's priorities are in the right place. Wait. When you go to mess with the weapon skins, you can see a censored image of Booth's face. Oh my god, the lore! The lore's coming back! The future of Counter-Strike, everybody! The future of Counter-Strike! But, anyway, after that mission is yet again another comic. And once again, I hope you enjoy my voice acting. Starting a war with Booth I'm not starting a war. I'm putting our house in order. How Booth responds is up to him. It's Imogen, not some random employee. How do you think he'll respond? He's a businessman first and a father second. I'll take my chances. We've lost Kincaid. They've stolen data from Kriegold. Now's the time to be decisive, not sentimental. If you've already made up your mind, why are we flying to the compound? I could just make a call and... No. Like you said, she's his daughter. I owe it to him personally.
that Valeria is en route to the cement factory. Finish up your business in the Maghreb and return to the States. This could be our best chance to take her out.
You asked for the best, right? Nothing makes a statement like a bespoke firearm. Go on, pick it up. Lighter than expected, isn't it? Its frame is made of... Excuse me, forgive the interruption. This had better be important. I understand, Father.
Hello again. It's your old friend Booth. Now, obviously, as a businessman, I make it a point not to choose sides, and as such, I would never reveal critical information to either the Coalition Task Force or the Phoenix. My daughter, however, does not seem to share my love of discretion, and is now marked for death by Valeria. Again, it would be inappropriate of me to interfere or ask for any favors. However, I imagine if you helped extract Imogen from the Phoenix base she is now hiding in, she would be quite grateful for your assistance.
I'm not wild about helping Booth, but Imogen could be a powerful asset. This time, we'll be going in by boat. By approaching from the river, we should be able to get past all their gates and get right in the compound. Once we're on site, we'll make contact with Imogen. You also have a second objective. Destroy that facility.
Now we get a boat.
Indeed. Alright, now we gotta shut up for a good hot minute in this next segment.
Imogen, can you hear me?
Thank God you're here. I don't know how much longer I can listen to Valeria drone on.
Our people are on site. Where are you?
The motor pool. I'm hiding in an APC.
Hang tight. We're on our way.
There's no hiding from us, Imogen. We'll find you and make you pay for your treachery. Failure can be forgiven. Betrayal will always be met today.
I'm so glad there's audio files on YouTube that have this, because I'm not gonna lie, half of Valeria's speech got garbled by gunfire.
Maybe I should probably, unless it already has a radio crackle, you can probably add
I
that.
wasn't spoken for.
There'll be time for jokes later. Let's get you out of here.
Great. Let me get out of this APC.
No, stay in the vehicle. You'll be safer inside. My people will escort you out of the facility.
You don't have to sell me on not getting shot at.
You have any ideas on how to take this place out?
What do I have to work with? A couple hundred kilos of plastic explosives?
What if I told you we only had 2 packs of C4?
I'd say you're woefully underfunded.
And I would agree. And then tell you we still only have 2 packs of C4.
I'll see what I can come up with.
Find Imogen and bring her to me. Anyone who plays a part in bringing this traitor to justice will earn my favor and be rewarded.
Stop the Coalition Task Force. Do not give these imperialists quarter or mercy.
Wait a minute. We never sold you any C4.
Your father's not the only game in town, Imogen.
You're buying explosives from Huxley. That snake oil salesman sells inferior product. We'll be lucky if this thing doesn't explode while we're on site.
We can argue about inventory later. Stay focused on the task at hand.
It's not too late for you, Imogen. I understand that you're scared and that you don't want to die. But if you step out of that vehicle with courage and dignity, I will grant a quick and merciful end. But if you stand defiant, if you continue to cast your lot with these jackbooted thugs, you will reap the whirlwind.
She's a hell of a negotiator, isn't she?
I got him.
Oh no.
APC leave this compound.
Oh yeah, alright, I get ready.
3, 2. Why'd that bomb go off early?
I already told you why. Inferior product.
When you're safe, set up a meeting with Booth.
It would be my pleasure.
Dude, I can actually use the arm because the sword is on the one gun we can every other gun has
I know you can hear me. And I want you to understand something very clearly. Even if you escape today, you cannot hide from us. The fiery wings of the Phoenix embrace this world, and not even your father can shield you from the flames.
Back to base. We'll check for Valeria's body later. Good work.
Being a father is impossible. You do your best to protect your children, to give them a life better than your own. But children seldom want your protection, and they are willing to prove they don't need it.
Congratulations, Mr. Booth. The plan worked perfectly.
We're a long way from congratulations. The rest is up to her.
Any visual confirmation?
Not yet, Commander Riley. One thing's for sure, though. Even if we didn't get her, we did some good.
We're under fire! Woods, Jensen, status report! Damn it. Woods, report! My condolences, Commander Riley, but your men won't be checking in anytime soon. You must be Valeria. Did my charming accent give it away? No, I can hear the crazy in your voice. I look forward to killing you, Commander. Let's get out of here.
Maybe now you'll agree to slow down.
It's time to rest. We have a nuke plant to destroy.
Now, we're not done just yet. We've entered basically the epilogue. The last few mission briefings are from Imogen. From what we learned from her, we're told that Valeria has indeed survived, and for the time being, her guard, Naomi, is currently in charge. Franz is also still alive. He was never at the factory.
Franz Kriegeld was Valeria's heir apparent. It's his money that helped finance the operation, and he felt he should be in charge. However, now that his assets are being frozen, he's looking to prove he has other skills that are useful to the Phoenix.
What these other skills are, we find out in this next, well, the operation after the next operation. I'm gonna skip over Operation Hydra, because from what I could do research on, nothing happens. It is, by all accounts, a filler operation.
You know, I just wanted to put it out there that you are doing a great job, and I will feel personally responsible if you don't come home. So please don't let me live with crippling guilt. I get enough of that from my parents for not having kids, and wow, this got personal real fast.
We do learn, though, that Sebastian is still around. Still don't know where these two went, but with Operation Wildfire finally done, we can move on to Shattered Web. And do you remember when I said that Kriegeld, although he may not seem important at first, really gets important? His role and backstory in this operation literally changes everything we know.
Free fire zone. Hello, Sunshine. I know you've missed me, but I don't have time to catch up. I have it on good authority that Franz Kriegeld, one of Valeria's top lieutenants, is operating out of the Mediterranean. Seems like our favorite terrorist industrialist is dipping his toes into biological warfare on a private island. Your mission is to breach the facility and get a sample of any biotech he's developing. So pick out your gear and get to the deploy zone. You're leaving ASAP. Welcome to Operation Shattered Web.
Now, from here on out, the operations get a bit harder to understand because Valve decided to go ahead and get rid of the briefings that you would hear at the start of each one. So from here on out, our lore is pretty much entirely from the missions. But basically, if you couldn't understand Felix over his accent, Kriegel has been out somewhere in the Mediterranean on a private island messing with quote-unquote chemical warfare. And seeing as he, he's basically a member of the Phoenix. He literally gave them a place to stay and helped to fund their operations. And if that in itself wasn't bad, he's been paying mercenaries to put out his competition. And so, our operators are sent to the island. By the way, these co-op missions introduced something new gameplay-wise, which wasn't in the first one, and to be honest, I'm glad they did. In the first campaign, the ammo piles you picked up, you grabbed them once, done, gone. You couldn't use them again. And also, if you ran out of your armor, well, you better be ready to get fucking killed. But instead, we now get the ammo boxes that were used in the Danger Zone game mode, which allowed you to use them multiple times. And also, we find counter-terrorist armor in Phoenix territory. This is either an oversight, or maybe I'm just, trying to not spoil something. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up and let the gameplay roll.
My source says the samples are being held in the tunnels beneath the Kasbah. Get in there, take a sample, and get out before anyone knows we were here.
Get a good shot of the drones here.
Alright, there's the Kasbah. Secure the area and find a way into the underground tunnels. You don't put this many guards around something that doesn't need defending. The way in has to be around here somewhere.
Heavy.
Opposition is down there, so stay alert.
I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer.
The tunnels are causing interference. I'm gonna have to go dark until you're back out.
Well, hello. Now this is a fascinating situation. It's rare to have visitors here of their own volition. Though seeing the source of this interruption, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Felix truly has an eye for talent, doesn't he? But defeating Valeria's ideologues is one thing. Surviving against proper killers is quite another. Attention! Whomever brings me the head of these intruders will be granted their freedom. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Impressive. Your talents are wasted by serving Felix. You have so much more potential. If you survive, perhaps I can show you what you're really capable of.
Okay, hold on for a second. Let's take a pause for a minute. So, if it wasn't already apparent by the drones, the Danger Zone ammo boxes, Danger Zone is being run here. If there is not a Danger Zone event running here, it's at least where they're creating or supplying themselves with the tools for it. We've seen the drones that would deliver your supplies fly past us earlier, and if you weren't paying attention, we just gunned down a bunch of Danger Zone test subjects. So, remember what I said earlier about how we don't know if Kriegold is working for V-Shipping or that old Soviet train company? Yeah, I think he's working for V-Shipping. Which then leads into another thing, and why I talked about why we don't see the tactical awareness grenades here. This means the Coalition Task Force is getting their supplies from Kriegold. If not Kriegold, at least the people that Kriegold works with or used to work with. So this means this one company, much like Booth, is helping two different factions. However, we could also look at it in the way that maybe Kriegold is a defector from V-Shipping. I'm just saying, I don't think if I was the, higher up of V-Shipping, I would let a motherfucker use terrorists in one of our sites. And next up, let's think about that. Why are the Phoenix here? I would personally assume money. We've seen that Kriegold is willing to pay people to help his goals. Perhaps these members of the Phoenix were offered God knows how much money. I mean, look at him. He owns this fucking futuristic site. I think he has some dough in his pockets. Or, and I'm gonna go sound real crazy, what if these members of the Phoenix are defectors from Valeria, but specifically these ones? I mean, they're not called the defectors. I mean, in the game, they are called, when you look at them, Phoenix. But perhaps after witnessing Valeria basically get her shit rocked in Mission 1, maybe some of them were like, should I really be trying to help her out right now? She did just kind of get our base of operations fucking nuked. So, you know, it makes sense that maybe some of them wanted to work with Kriegold not only for extra pay, but because they've witnessed their own leader basically fail to do their goal. But this little plot twist changes everything. And you remember how I said we don't get the tactical awareness grenades anymore? This explains it, because think from V-Shipping's perspective. V-Shipping is giving these weapons to the counter-terrorists, presumably, to help them defeat the Phoenix, and also because Kriegold is an ex-employee or defector. What if, as a matter of fact, if we want to really push a dumb plot here, what if V-Shipping paid the Coalition Task Force in Mission 1 to do all that? Then after this, you hear that the counter-terrorists are having to attack one of your own sites because of the fact that Kriegold's there, and is using the Phoenix, and is working on chemical warfare. Like, I'm just saying, if I witnessed those counter-terrorists blow up Kriegold's, compound, I'd be a little worried that they would also blow up one of my sites. So perhaps the reason we don't get tag grenades in this is because the V-Shipping Corporation sees us basically attack one of their own places, and says, it's kind of cringe. Perhaps they're not giving us things like the tag grenades to reduce the cost of the losses they'll have. Or maybe I'm just looking way too much into it, and Valve for some reason thought that these grenades aren't at all cool and badass, and like, bro, bring these back, please. I fucking love the tag grenades. They're so fucking cool. Just do what you did in Mission 1, where you can't refill on them. You only get like one per objective. And to go back on Kriegold for a second, what if the reason that he's trying to bomb one of his quote-unquote own trains is because he is a defector, and he wants to send a message to V-Shipping? We don't know his motives behind leaving V-Shipping or why he would defect, but I would assume he's a defector because who the hell is going to let one of their employees use terrorists? But the test subjects are terrorists. Those pieces of shit are getting thrown onto a remote island where a gas is going to slowly envelop the entire thing until one of them is left. And then that one person is probably going to get thrown into another experiment. I'm just saying, if anybody should be a test subject for some kind of cruel experiment, it should be death row inmates and terrorists. So, anyway, to try to make what the fuck I'm saying short, V-Shipping, the people behind Danger Zone, have been giving the Coalition Task Force presumably some of the much more advanced weaponry, or just flat out giving them money. It could even be possible that Mission 1 only happened because of V-Shipping paying the Coalition Task Force. Kriegold is presumably paying or using defectors of the Phoenix to go ahead and help him, I guess, with his little experiments? With Kriegold possibly trying to enhance or modify the zone, as we see in Danger Zone. Said zone being most likely the chemical warfare that was mentioned. Okay, I need to shut the fuck up and let the gameplay go on for a little bit longer. Oh yeah, well also I could always in Gmod green screen, because I found a good model pack.
Oh, cool.
Like it's very easy to pose versions of these guys as ragdolls.
I'm like trying to think of what your guy would say, what my guy would actually say here. You're like, if terrorists got these guys in jail, they must have been real twisted fuckers.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious if I cut the thing off his ankle and just blew up.
I'll Photoshop the poorly edited green screen explosion, don't worry.
Oh, look, it says here, test subject deposit.
Do you hear the ambience in the background? It sounds like fucking Striders from Half-Life. Like, that alone implies they're building some weird shit down here when that is what you hear.
The bloops, yeah, it sounds like a Strider's out around here. Look at the body going through the wall! It's the Saddam Hussein meme! If I manually send it like this. There we go. I had to send it through our chat outside.
Oh my god. You actually, you weren't joking, he's actually soldered it.
He's just like...
You actually were kidding, oh my god.
I can't breathe. He's in the Saddam Hussein pose. The cure for COVID!
And so you found what you were looking for. But consider this. Why do you think Felix knows so much about this place? Perhaps you don't have the whole story. Perhaps I am not the demon he is making me out to be.
I am in position.
Get away from the wall!
You know, Kriegel brings up a good point here. And to be honest, we've kind of been thinking about it for a long time, but this kind of just confirms it. The Coalition Task Force probably knows what's going on here. They know about these subjects. They know about the experiments being ran in the danger zone. They aren't oblivious to this company. I mean, if it was just them being a customer buying V-Shipping's tech, that would be another thing. You can't blame the customer behind the corporation that made the product being evil. But if Felix knows so much about this location, then that implies he's aware of the weird shit going on in V-Shipping. And if that's the case, that makes the V-Shipping Corporation not giving us weaponry make a bit more sense. If a company that I was trying to help knew about where I run my things, and then when I'm told that there's terrorists there and they're gonna have to perform counter-terrorism, which can sometimes involve this, then I know I'm gonna lose some cash and would rather not lose a whole bunch more. That, or maybe, and this is gonna kind of get rid of my whole idea that Kriegel is a defector. What if Kriegel isn't a defector? What if V-Shipping is fine with this? They're fine with terrorists working there. Perhaps the V-Shipping, us killing terrorists, is less helping them, but getting rid of free labor. What if V-Shipping is equally as fucked up as the terrorists? Now, I know I've kind of tried to imply that the test subjects are terrorists being detained and used for tests, but what if they aren't? What if perhaps some of these prisoners, maybe not all of them, but some of them were just people who had a crime that led them here? What if they, I don't know, robbed a bank and killed a bunch of people because they were so broke that they needed the money? What if they stole because they needed food so bad? And however extreme their crime was what led them here. In that case, these are just people. Granted, people who have done fucked up things, but probably for a reason that can be kind of looked at as either good or understandable, at least in their headspace. I want to reiterate, I'm not defending crime or terrorism. I'm just saying when you put yourself in that person's shoes, although you do not agree, you can understand their goals. V-Shipping is running what is by all accounts the Hunger Games, using people to test this weird chemical weapon, to test their automated turrets, to test if their drones can track down an iPad signal, to see how well an exosuit or bump mine can work. All the while, these people are told that there has to be at least one of them standing at the end. Because if they don't kill each other, then the gas itself is gonna get them. Anyway, to make a long story short, V-shipping probably really bad, and helping both good and bad guy.
Get away from the wall!
It's really not in your best interest to leave. Stay! Return the sample. Join my experiments. And if you emerge victorious, I will show you how the world truly works. You could be so much more than Felix's cat's paw.
Glad you made it out of there in one piece. We have a helicopter standing by for extraction. Get down to the coast and secure a landing zone. There's a helipad nearby. Secure it, and we'll get you out of there.
We missed him. Oh, there he is! Sneaky little shit.
Great work. The helicopter has been dispatched. ETA 1 minute.
There's a crane all the way back out
If
there.
I may have your attention, if you do not stop these intruders,
And
you
like an
will
oil rig
find
or something over that
yourself
way.
in the next round of experiments.
Brief little break here. I want to mention that line where he says that you'll find yourself in the next round of experiments. That might imply that what I said earlier about them being defectors, or people who want to work with him because of pay, may actually be false, and these are technically just prisoners without the jumpsuit. Perhaps he imprisoned them here, so he had 1, cheap bodyguards, and 2, if you run low on test subjects, just toss them a jumpsuit and slap on an ankle bracelet.
Balcony.
Maybe I'm not motivating you properly. This should help.
Incoming missile.
Almost there.
Pick it up. You need to get out of there now.
Come on.
Once you get home, that sample is going to the lab straight away. Time to find out what Kriegeld is up to.
After this begins Mission 2 of Operation Shattered Web. Now, for some reason, this map, like the second mission, is just so buggy. You have to enter commands to even kickstart it, because normally the game would just say back in the operation, oh, you did 1, let's start 2. but because the operation's over, you have to use the console. And it seems like you have to basically set it to mission 2 before it even starts. So like when it says waiting for warm-up, that's when you should put in the commands to go ahead and reset the mission so it will play mission 2. Doing this seemed to fix the bugs, because believe me, when we first started it up, it was indeed buggy.
The virus diffuser will keep you safe as long as you stick together.
Well, okay, it's...
Search the area. My God.
Okay, what the fuck? Everything is like bugged. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna exit, alright? I'm gonna exit. But anyway, mission 2 begins with Felix talking to us once again.
Hello, operators. Sorry to keep you waiting. I know you are as excited as I was to make another move against France's operation, but analysis of the virus sample is taking longer than expected. Good news, though. We're making progress. And we found a way to temporarily diffuse the virus cloud. We need you to go back and destroy any virus production facilities present on the island. And if possible, capture or kill Franz Kriegeld. We've equipped you with stronger radio receivers this time around, so you should be able to receive communications from me even underground. Alright? Gear up and get to the boat when you're ready.
Now, when we start, we're given a weapon called the Repulsor, which helps to go ahead and keep the zone away from us. However, you and your buddy have to basically beat up each other's ass while somebody's holding it. And looking at the model, it doesn't seem to have any connections to V-Shipping. Granted, this could be an item from V-Shipping, seeing as it is related to the zone from Danger Zone. And if it is from V-Shipping, perhaps all that shit I said about V-Shipping no longer wanting to work with us could be wrong. But Aiden, Felix said we invented this.
We found a way to temporarily diffuse the virus cloud.
Well, I don't know if part 1 of this mission gave you any clues, but he ain't exactly the most trustworthy person. Or maybe this was actually just invented by the Coalition Task Force. When going into the files for CSGO, specifically looking through the props on Gary's mod, I noticed that the Repulsor is in the Survival tab, which is where all Danger Zone items are loaded. So perhaps it was going to be used in Danger Zone, but then was repurposed into Co-op Strike, or maybe I'm just looking way too much into this. If you came to this video expecting a simple explanation of the story, why are you on my channel? But basically, I think the Repulsor is one of two things. V-Shipping actually doesn't hate us, and decided to give us this as a way to help defeat Kriegeld, or the Coalition Task Force built this device themselves, using the research they gathered by inspecting the zone, aka the chemical weapon, and found out how to repulse it. Hence the name of the device, the Repulsor. And the chemical weapon itself, what the fuck is it? When you get near it in both Danger Zone and in the Co-op Strike missions, it makes this crackling noise like fire. It causes anything behind it to become monochrome when you look at it, but the edges are red. It also kills you slowly when you're inside of it. And it kills any living organic thing, specifically organic. As we see at the beginning of this mission, when going near the coast, you can see just tons and tons of dead fish that died from the gas just lining along the coast. But around us is automated turrets. Get used to those, they start showing up way more in Co-op Strike, which either hints that they were set here before the bombs fell, or Kriegeld had people that also had repulsors go out and put the turrets out there. Although judging by the look of this place, I feel like these were set here more for when a Danger Zone experiment was being ran than for actual protection. Maybe this area itself that we're entering is from the aftermath of a Danger Zone test. But anyway, whatever chemical this is, it certainly is strange, which is honestly pretty normal for V-Shipping with some of the other weird shit they've made. But anyway, the two operators, one of them armed with a repulsor, go ahead and set out to invade the facility.
The virus diffuser will keep you safe as long as you stick together. Search the area for a way into the bunker complex and proceed with the mission. Good luck, operators. We're counting on you. My God. Just imagine what virus would do if it were unleashed on a population center. There's the entrance. Proceed with caution. This place has got to be crawling with Phoenix.
There's the fucking Strider sounds. Like, it sounds like Striders.
Wanted to bring the repulsor for no reason, other than just to carry it around. How the hell do we get out of here? What the fuck?
There is... We just go to the door. The door.
That door had a lock on it.
Quite the operation they had going here.
Greg! Maybe we were funding these guys in a foreign country and we were getting a little bit too much money. Left side. That, or it calls it.
I'm no expert, but that looks important.
Historically speaking.
Put that C4 to good use and blow it up.
Upstairs. Over here. I'll put it on there.
Bomb has been planted.
Bad guys left.
This must be the main storage area. Class 4. Let's get the hell out of there.
Bomb has been planted.
Good work. Now, head topside so we can start looking for Franz.
Three, two,
The elevator's invisible again.
look up.
No
Oh
idea
shit!
what that is.
They're punishing our stupidity.
Left side, left side.
Brother, they're everywhere. What do you
Right.
mean? Are you not far enough in the elevator? Shut up for now.
My friend, you didn't actually think you were escaping, did you? Make no mistake, I am still in control here, and this place will be your tomb.
Operators! Operators, come in! Thank God you're alive. I was getting worried there for a minute. The elevator's out of service. Find another way out of there.
feels like a straight up Call of Duty mission. In like the best way.
Oh, it does, yeah. You know, also the animation for us getting up is like the same one they use in
Our
Portal
pest
2.
problem has been dealt with. Cleanup crews are to report to Section Alpha immediately and initiate ventilation purge protocols. That is all.
They're like, oh yeah, they also use it in Half-Life 2. That is just... We made one animation for getting up.
Find a way to extinguish that.
Here you go. You solved the problem. You got this.
There we go. That should put it out.
I think I made it bigger.
Oh.
Now, I just made it worse. There must be some way to extinguish that fire.
What is happening?
Instant death.
That man died faster than he could fucking process. Alright.
His brain genuinely didn't have enough time to fucking process that.
Alright, here. Prepare to go deaf.
Very resourceful. I'm impressed.
There's a guy here. There was a guy here.
Is it okay if I torture you for this segment?
There's no easy way to say this, but I think you'll have to cross that tunnel.
Just trust me. I just realized there's a fucking radio in this room playing the Kazatsi kick music from TF2.
I need to hear that.
Right over here, there's a fucking radio playing the Kazatsi kick music.
It's so quiet.
It's yeah, I heard that barely out of the corner of my hearing. Oh my
Neuron activation. I'm just gonna be blended like.
Ready?
I'll look up it. You have my complete faith! Ah! Oh god! Ah! Wrong way! Ah! Reverse it! Oh god! Not like this!
My God! Who disabled the ventilation purge? Start it back up again before this place fills up with noxious gas!
Hi, partner.
What's the song off like?
Is take your stereotypical video game shotgun and times it by 10. That motherfucker is only good if you're breathing down their neck.
Oh, there's an R8 here if you want it.
I don't have a HUD.
Shit. Oh, I probably shouldn't have left my AK. Oh, well.
That must be Franz's office. Get up there and take him out. Well, look what crawled out of the basement. I must commend you. You are most resilient. Sadly, this is where your story comes to a close. Guards!
Oh, if you get up close, you can tell.
Kill them.
can both get
I need you
M249.
to start yapping just a little bit less.
Felix has truly trained you well, but in the end, it's all for naught. I will not be taken. Not today. Not ever. Oh, it's fun. But it's time for me to say goodbye.
What? How did he get away? Search the area. He must be nearby. That's it. Get after him. He must be trying to get away in that boat. Take him out! Down there, by the docks. Light him up. Friendly fire! Focus fire on the boat, not the dropper. Excellent. The fish can deal with whatever's left of him.
Good job, man. Good job.
Well done, operators. The facility and France have been neutralized. Get back to the ship for debriefing. And some much-needed R&R.
And with that, Kriegold is dead. By the way, there's something I want to bring up about the co-op missions that I really like, which allows Valve to not have to model these characters. You see, in any co-op mission where there's a character that isn't just the Phoenix members, they're often in a vehicle or hidden. In the first operation, when we went to go rescue Imogen, she was inside of an APC, so Valve didn't have to model her, just animate the APC, which is probably easier than animating a human being. And for Kriegold, they have that whole bait and switch of the target being in his chair, and then he himself is in a stealth boat, but because you're just gunning down the stealth boat, you don't see him. It also allows Valve to not have to make a really gory model of Kriegold after he just got gunned down and basically burnt to death. And now, one of the biggest supporters of the Phoenix is gone. This leaves only really one person left up for elimination. Valeria herself. And in Operation Broken Fang, that is exactly what we try to do.
Good to see you back, operators. It's been a while since we've been back in the field, so we're going to start with a little recon mission. Phoenix convoys have been spotted moving in and out of a provincial farmstead, and seeing as Valeria probably hasn't taken an interest in agriculture, we need to know what's going on there. Investigate the farm, take note of anything odd, then pull out. Welcome to Operation Broken Fang.
You can also mention how they have a nod to the old ammo system.
Oh yeah, I could probably mention it.
I have 90 gigabytes of, like, Gary's Mod things installed.
You know what, never mind, we should be good.
It will be nothing to add to the pile.
Coming up on a location now. Get ready to dismount. Follow the riverbed. Stay low and out of sight.
In the summertime, when the weather is hot, you can stretch right up and touch the sky. You got women on your mind. Have a drink, have a drive. Go out and see what you can find.
So much for the quiet approach. Move quickly on the farm.
Everybody's rich, take her out for a meal. Everybody's boy, just do what you feel.
Now, as we actually approach the barn, things start to get a little strange.
What the hell are the Phoenix planning?
Now that I think of that, that might be like maybe air filters or something up here.
That might actually be,
could be air filters. That almost always gets I heard a cow, but we never see any cows.
I have God mode.
Shit.
I have God mode. What the? Before you move on to the next area, there should be one guy left.
Buddy, you don't want to do this. Put down your gun. Put it down. They all went flying. In the building.
Yep.
I'm no expert, but that does not look like regular farm equipment. Well, what do we have here?
Holy shit.
Guess we're going underground.
We got a heavy up ahead.
We have one enemy left.
One, two, three.
Oh no. Overlapping seam of the texture right here.
Okay, this is getting absurd.
So, you remember what I said near the beginning of the video when I said the Phoenix isn't your average terrorist faction? This is what I mean. These people have built basically an underground laboratory underneath a barn. This is on the same type of level as shit that Kriegel would do. And, spoiler alert, there's no hint that V-shipping is even involved. It's kind of implied that all of this was done by the Phoenix.
Looks like the Phoenix are better financed than we thought.
to death.
End of the line. There's the trucks. Uh-oh, that's not good. Finally, some peace and quiet. Let's keep that door opened. Of course, that'd be too easy. We'll have to breach. Did you bring any thermite charges with you? Never mind. Get out of there and get back to the APC. We need to rethink this.
I love that video game logic. If you hold your knife, you're faster. But still,
Excellent.
same weight.
Cross your fingers, it leads to an exit.
Wait on you. There we go. Once we reach the top of this elevator shaft, we have probably one of the most difficult and challenging fights of the entire co-op strike map pool.
Well, it would have been handy if we found this first, now wouldn't it? Believe me, the advanced team is going to hear about this. Extraction should be there any moment. Let's get you back home and figure out a way to crack that door.
Hamster.
Nah, I'm kidding. It would be cool though if we had a giant boss fight. I love when video games acknowledge like the stupidity sometimes of stuff, like how we could have started here, but we didn't. Now, that's not the entirety of the third mission. You see, unlike the first two, this is actually divided into two separate maps. Like, not even like where you hit a console command to load the next level. No, these are two separate map files. And when you play the second part, you see why it was divided into two.
I was hoping to find a way to breach the Phoenix facility without having to ask Booth for a favor, but desperate times and blah blah blah. The point is, we've got the explosives we need to knock Valeria's front door down. It's time to finish Operation Broken Fang.
My fellow Americans, I do declare, I don't know where I am. This man is about to assassinate me.
I was so tempted to shoot you there, but I decided not.
Coming up on a location now. Get ready to dismount.
Now, what do you think happens if I touch that beam?
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna touch that beam.
Here's hoping
Oh, you got him.
merchandise works as advertised.
Here we go.
Place the breach charge and stand back. It's time we knock on that door and say hello.
would appear that the tyrants have breached our house of learning. But we will not be deterred. These would-be assassins have travelled far to come here, but it will all be in vain. The Phoenix is the voice of freedom. And freedom cannot be stopped by a bullet.
Really suck. Play through the campaign, the co-op campaign with like those Chinese modded weapons. It's like a bowl of bullets.
Yeah, should be enough footage.
Now, things go from weird, like having a factory and laboratory underneath an abandoned barn, to even weirder. As you can see, the terrorists have been seemingly trying to set up training here. Along with Valeria saying that they've breached our house of learning, it seems like at least this sector of the building is for training. They even have specific targets wearing our armor. They are practicing to fight us. We are such a threat, they have a specific target thing set up for us. And you go further in, and it just gets stranger. We see tennis ball launchers repurposed to shoot things like flashbangs and smoke grenades. And near this is this large wooden structure. And then when you enter that structure, we get the biggest plot twist in the entire storyline. Bigger than learning that the Coalition Task Force gets their weaponry from the same people running Danger Zone. Bigger than learning that Franz Kriegel is a member, or at least ex-member, of V Shipping. This plot twist changes not only everything we know about the storyline and co-op strike, but the base game. You enter...
I'm gonna go through here slow so I can compare it to the actual map. But also be quiet.
And see a reconstruction of Bomb Site B from Mirage. Keep in mind, this farm is presumably out in America. The map Mirage is set in Morocco. But here's the weird thing. The terrorists on that map aren't the Phoenix. Well, don't worry, here's another big old plot twist for you. Valeria notices us and sends terrorists to kill us.
Recruits, report to Mirage Sector and show these interlopers what the Phoenix has taught you.
And these terrorists aren't just Phoenix. It's every single terrorist faction. Valeria referring to these other factions as students. This means the Phoenix is the leader behind every single terrorist faction. Every single faction in the entirety of CSGO connects back to the Phoenix. And you remember in the intro when I said that this story is about people fighting for a war they don't know is going on? This is exactly what I mean. To the counter-terrorists, the base ones, the ones you play in the average Counter-Strike round, they are just fighting terrorists. In their mind, that's what they're doing. But they don't realize that these terrorists, 1, have a connection to the Phoenix, 2, that the Phoenix itself is using weaponry and getting resources from people that works for the company giving Coalition Task Force their supplies, and 3, they don't even realize that the Coalition Task Force is getting that type of weaponry. These men and women are fighting a war behind the scenes that is quite literally across the globe. It is what I can only describe as a quiet war. To the Coalition Task Force, they know what's going on. These terrorists around the globe are working with the Phoenix and are going to probably try to destroy the Earth. But to the basic counter-terrorists, these are just terrorists. To them, the anarchists are just some random teens. The Balkans are people left over from the Yugoslav War. And it's... Do you see why I'm really pissed they cut this story? Every round of CSGO is technically us trying to fight the Phoenix. And before we go on, let's think for a second. Why would these terrorists be working with the Phoenix? more often than not, their names and their lines seem to imply varying different goals than just the Phoenix. But as seen with Kriegel, Valeria is willing to work with people even if they clash heads. And so, what I think is going on here is that all the other terrorist factions are working with the Phoenix because, as you can see, they got quite a fucking budget. Like, alright, imagine you're a terrorist. That's gonna get quoted out of context. And you have a goal to, like, do something bad. Cause anarchy. To reinforce the old government that you wish was there. Whatever your motive may be. And you find out that this other terrorist faction, the Phoenix Connection, has entire laboratories underground to help you and your men train, to get better supplies, and probably even have a place to sleep. Yeah, I'd work with them if I was a terrorist. Please don't take that out of context. And you know, the name of the game, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, starts to sound really fitting. When I initially played the game, I assumed that it was because every map is around the world with different factions. But it feels more fitting knowing this story. Every round is the Phoenix going on the offensive. A global offensive.
He said it! He said it!
Anyway, sorry for getting all hyped. I love that plot twist, and it's just... Why the fuck did Valve make this? We killed the servers of CSGO for this pile of shit, by the way. But as you progress, the training scenarios get stranger and stranger. One of my favorites is this room where you enter, and then...
Oh, that's cool.
And I presume it's to help teach your teammate how to navigate while being flashbanged should you have a partner that gets flashbanged. I don't know the exact scenario this training would come in handy, but I gotta admit it makes for a really cool puzzle. And I also really like how if you fuck up enough times, the path you have to take just becomes a straight line. Like Valeria just witnessed these people fuck up over and over again, and she's like, fuck it, just make them go left. Anyway, I'm gonna let the gameplay play a little bit and stop yapping for a moment.
Confetti!
Yeah, oh my god.
So, the terrorists have a failsafe, for if there are people who are so rock-eatingly stupid they couldn't figure out how to walk forward, back, left, to right, that you can just walk in one direction again.
Yeah.
God, I don't know how you're genuinely supposed to do that, like, in multiplayer. Like, the actual way, because it's so difficult.
I think that's exactly why they added the failsafe. Because they realized, like, some people it might just take them way too long.
I feel like if we could stream your video on Discord, I probably could have just watched it and cheesed it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Alright, we gotta go... Not slow yet, but... We then stumble across another recreation of a bomb site. Bomb Site B from the map Ancient, which, once again, to point out how global this attack is, Ancient takes place in Mexico. Once again showing how Valeria is not only training the Phoenix for their attacks, but these other factions to attack other places. But unfortunately, Valeria notices us, and it's time to hold our ground.
It's another layer. Don't recognize it. Could be where the Phoenix is planning to strike next, though. Make your way to that control room and see what you can find out.
Blood has been spilt in these hallowed halls by the Coalition Task Force. Our brothers and sisters in the struggle are dead, and their murderers have advanced to Hall 3. Greet them with the respect these monsters deserve.
I'll give her that. We are walking tanks.
That is true. Oh my god.
Watch out, sniper! Throwing grenade! Grenade out!
Whoa!
piece of intel you can find. We'll sort through it later.
Do you think they send in their best clips of their terrorists to phase?
I can see it. I can definitely see it.
Or watch Homeboy run this course in like 5 seconds flat.
Alright, bro, watch me speedrun does too.
Ooh, I got all her diary entries. Let's go.
No one leaves the facility or the farm.
Get the hell out of there.
I really love your editing style. I know it's gonna be
My editing, I try not to be over the top.
therapeutic. It's been a struggle. Ow, 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 ow. Oh shit.
Oh, he's hitting some fanatic with a knife and an AK. That's a goddamn Fang. Don't make your move until you find something that will actually damage that thing. I was hoping for a rocket launcher or something, but since we can't blow up the tank, we're gonna have to set up a cook in the bastard drive. Incendiary. Came it off. Incendiary. Nicely done! I'm not gonna lie, when that tank showed up I was worried I'd have to be delivering some bad news tonight. But you kept your wits about you and dealt a hell of a blow to the Phoenix. I'm honored to have you on the task force. Now, let's get you home so you can have the celebration heroes like you deserve.
Terrorists win.
After that, we get back to base. And then in the next operation... Wait. Operation Riptide didn't have a co-op strike map. And co-op strike never continued because it was never continued into CS2. That's where it fucking ends. We just got blueprints for Valeria's plans. For her plans to attack the entire globe. And this is where it ends? No continuation. Not even a hint or a smidge of a clue where this could lead. This is where it ends. We never got a conclusion to it in Operation Riptide. And at the rate the current updates are going, I don't think we're ever going to get another continuation to this. Counter-Strike. Once a Half-Life 1 deathmatch mod. Once one of the most successful esports in history. Once a game about terrorists fighting counter-terrorists has been reduced into a casino. The ruining of Counter-Strike, in my opinion, has a lot of issues. I've mentioned them in the intro, but to me, the biggest issue I find is this feeling of censorship. We no longer have real-life counter-terrorists and real-life terrorists, some terrorist factions based on actual real-life terrorists. We have the agent skins, which you need to buy, reducing what was once just representations of terrorism and counter-terrorism into default skins. And what was once a storyline, where both factions had flaws, where the bad guys, although the bad guys, had goals you could understand, and the good guys, although the good guys, got a lot of their supplies and weaponry from questionable people. Which, fun fact, in the real world, that happens. Sometimes in the real world, counter-terrorists or the army will do fucked up things to keep the world safe. Terrorism, a crime that is disgusting and ends so many lives, is often done by people who feel that they have no other option in order to get their point across. This storyline has been erased. It's gone. It's not there anymore. Counter-Strike 2 has so many flaws. But the one that angers me is the getting rid of the storyline. Because to me, it was genuinely an interesting and intriguing storyline. And if this is our reference for what's to come with the updates, this game's future looks fucking bleak. They shut down the servers to CSGO in order to make this game, and promised us it was the future of Counter-Strike, and we've been given nothing but a half-baked version of CSGO. The source engine in CSGO already looked fine. These maps look beautiful for running in Source. And listen, I understand. The reason they probably moved the Source 2 was because Source is over 20 years old. However, I have a counterpoint. Have you seen what motherfuckers can make in the Source engine? This is probably a widely known fact, but Titanfall 2 runs on basically Source. This runs on the same engine, although heavily modified, that runs Counter-Strike. The engine, in my opinion, was not the limitation. I think that Valve didn't really want to improve Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike to me is already fine as it is. They just wanted an excuse to shut down CSGO so they can encourage people to buy the agent skins and get past gambling laws. I'm making quite the fucking accusation, but if I haven't made it apparent, I'm really pissed with the current state of Counter-Strike. If you need a reference for how long I've been playing this game, I bought the game. Like, I played the game back when it wasn't free. I can remember when Danger Zone coming out was fucking earth-shattering news. I have been playing this game for a long time. I don't want to see the game die. I don't want to see it become this shell. I know I've made it sound like there's no coming back and that Valve can't fix it, but they can! Bring back the factions. Bring back a lot of the maps. Bring back some of the game modes. Keep the storyline going. You ended it on a cliffhanger. You have so much room to do what you want. But if what we're seeing now is the current, status quo of Counter-Strike, it's looking bleak. I wanted to make this video not only to talk about the co-op strike mode and Guardian mode, because God, I fucking love that mode, but I just wanted to show a contrast between Valve when they were making CSGO and Counter-Strike 2. These co-op maps had all these custom voice actors. And models, and sound effects. Granted, things like the heavies were introduced when Guardian mode was added, but all of the voice lines that they make, that was completely new. Valve spent so much effort on basically a storyline that meant nothing to the game. And now with Counter-Strike 2, they're barely even doing the goddamn minimum. Some community maps, some new community skins. Alright, everybody, have a good day. And this is an issue I see happen to Valve. And only Valve. And it genuinely, I actually don't know why this happens. Valve gets away with this. Any other game studio does this, they would get shit on. Maybe it's because Valve kinda sorta has a monopoly when it comes to PC gaming. Maybe it's because they made the Steam Deck. Maybe it's because people are just so nostalgia blind that they think, oh, well, they made Half-Life, so they gotta be good people. My brother in Christ, half the devs that made that probably don't work there anymore. If any other game were to do this to their sequel, okay, let's just think of a dumb example. Imagine if Team Fortress 2 was told its servers are gonna shut down for Team Fortress 3. A brand new evolution for the game. And the only thing that comes out is the maps look better. The soldiers and Demo Man's explosions have cool effects now. Half of the game modes and maps are gone. Team Fortress 3, wouldn't you be in fucking uproar? So why aren't people in uproar with Counter-Strike? And I'm not trying to say we need to start some sort of protest, but what I am saying is if you think Counter-Strike 2 is dog shit, you should probably make your opinion known. Counter-Strike is a game that was built by its community, that was helped and modified through updates by its community and what they requested. And I think if Counter-Strike fans were loud enough, Valve might finally try to fix these issues. Maybe we could get the Valve we knew back when Operation Wildfire came out, back when Danger Zone was added. Those versions of Valve that were ambitious, that wanted to add new things to the game and make it better. Not the Valve that has made the most stupid gambling system I have ever seen in my life. To make a long story short, back when Co-op Strike and Guardian mode was added, it was a clear sign that Valve cared. that Valve wanted to make the game as good as it could be. Even if that meant adding a storyline that no one cared about. Even if it meant adding a game mode that people didn't like Danger Zone. Because guess what? There were people like me who liked the story, who liked Danger Zone. I liked it whenever Valve would add custom maps. It was a refresher from playing things like Italy and Mirage and Dust 2. What I'm trying to say is I want Valve to make big updates, to mess and shake with the fan base, to do things that not all fans will agree with. Because right now, Counter-Strike 2 is nothing but a shell. A shell full of forgotten maps, forgotten factions, and a forgotten story.
And today is the only day, and now is the only time